Hello and welcome to the NFL show in association with Matchbook with me, Nat Coombs, coming to the end of another long day in Atlanta. Well, I say coming to the end of a long day. This place is just starting to get warmed up. The first day, I think it's been really discernible that the fans in town are getting ready for the big show. Another busy day on Radio Row, crazy frenzy stuff, although towards the end of the afternoon, things packing up and slowing down as everybody now turns their attention away from talking up the big game to covering the big game. We're getting into that phase of Super Bowl week. But we had a busy old time over there. Let's get things started. We caught up with a rugby star heading to the NFL, Christian Wade. As you're on this journey playing, which players in particular on Sunday are you looking forward to seeing up close and personal?
For me, I'm going to be looking at the running backs. I'm basically looking at people in my position, so like Todd Gurley, Williams,
CJ Anderson, a very different style.
He's different, but his way, like the way he flows, is good as well. We always talk about the flow, basically looking at the running backs' footwork and how the linebackers have to mimic that and stuff, and how he presses the heel of the guard, the O-line and stuff. So there's just like things I'll be watching to just try and see, oh yeah, that's something I learned, and how did he do that, and his footwork and stuff like that. So
Sean McVay's a fascinating guy, and one of the things everyone's talking about is his age, but I'm just interested as a player, rugby, NFL, doesn't really matter, how important is it these days to have a coach that you can connect with on levels outside of the actual game?
I think it's huge, man, like especially in a sport like NFL, where it's a massively mental game. Like you want to have your mind right so that you can perform on the field. Because if you've got too much stuff circulating in your brain, and especially for a player like me, I like to feel good in order to play good. When I'm out there, I let my instincts kind of flow. I want to do all my prep in the week so that when the game comes, I don't have to think much. I just go out there and perform. So I think if you got that kind of coach that understands you, understands his team, knows how to move people around and make good decisions and get the boys where they need to be, that's probably like more than half the battle, I think.
Yeah, it's a fair point. I'm the same with presenting, all about preparation.
All
about the prep.
You know.
Really good to catch up with Christian. He looked completely in his element here, really composed, really interested to see how it plays out. I've got a lot of faith that he is going to make it all the way in the big leagues. Now, somebody instrumental in allowing British athletes to come over here and chance their arm in the NFL is, of course, the NFL UK MD, Alistair Kirkwood. He's in town as well, and we caught up with him. Sunday.
Yeah.
Are we getting into the prediction mode with you? I want to hear a bit of game analysis from you on this.
I know as little or as much as anyone else at the moment, because almost all the other predictions that I'm hearing are kind of
50-50, right?
Yeah, 50-50, and usually kind of I'm going to pick X, but I'm actually not surprised if it's Y.
Yeah,
that's the usual one. I think the Rams are going to win.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I think if the Rams. The thing is that usually having 2 weeks to prepare is playing into Belichick's hands, right? Because he's got a proven record of taking advantage of that. That's why becoming the number 2 seed rather than actually being the number 3 seed was huge for this season, right? Because being able to actually pre-plan and scheme was great for him. I just think that if the Rams can either close down the running game or at a minimum make sure that they scout James White and just ensure that the
backfield.
The dunks over the middle that usually Brady uses as his safety valve, and they just move the chain so effectively.
Yeah.
I got to feel that whilst the Rams defense has not been as vicious and as aggressive as it was at the start of the season,
they're going to bring the pain.
I'd like to think that from their perspective that they're fresh. They're going to be fresher than they've been any other part of the season, and just go for it. Selfishly, whilst the Patriots are the most popular team in the UK, and I'm probably upsetting a few fans by saying that.
We've got Super Bowl champs in London next season
for two years in a row. That wouldn't be a bad thing, would it?
Now, as well as the NFL show, I'm in town to cover the game for Talk Sport Radio, and one of my co-hosts on the night is the Titans linebacker Wesley Woodyard. We caught up with him a bit earlier on.
If you go back to last year's Super Bowl game, the New England Patriots have been in every situation in this atmosphere. They know how to win, and unfortunately they lost too, so they know what it takes to lose and win. So they're ready for this moment. I personally I can't go against Coach McVay, man. We're the same age, and I believe in my age range.
Very wise to do that.
Yeah.
So you going Rams on Sunday then?
I got to stick with the Rams, man. I really think that they have a few X factors that's going to stand out. I'm looking forward to seeing Akeem have a great game.
Yeah.
It's going to be challenging, man. Brady's going to have a huge challenge with Peters out there on the other side too, so I'm looking forward to that matchup.
And we wrapped up today by catching up with our oldest friend, Gregg Rosenthal from NFL Network, and of course the NFL show in town. Be warned, we spent about 80% of the chat talking hip-hop, 20% football, but it was still good.
One of the big questions for the Super Bowl, I feel like hanging over the week, is Big Boy gonna be joined by Andre 3000 in the halftime show? Outkast, if you're not as familiar, is the greatest rap group of all time. Now you could go with Tribe Called Quest or NWA or Run DMC or Wu-Tang Clan. You could go with a lot of people.
But you would say Outkast are yours.
I honestly don't think it's that close, and I think a lot of people would agree with me, especially if you're going. He would be like the Gronk. They would be like the Gronk of rap groups, where if Gronk retires this year, to me he's the greatest tight end of all time. 8 or 9 seasons, he played the game at a level that no tight end has ever played it in terms of complete game.
Okay.
Outkast, they only lasted 5 albums, and one of them is, this thing where they kind of each did a solo album and they worked it together and that, So not as big of a body of work.
Right.
But the talent, the versatility, the way they complemented each other, just everything about it. And then more importantly, like the level, each one of those, like, can they top it? How many bands get better with every album and like kind of keep topping themselves? It doesn't happen.
Yeah,
and then they quit at 5.
Yeah,
Eventually you're probably going to start going backwards, and it's like they did it. They went 5 for 5. There is no other band that can match that.
All those chats in their entirety over on the podcast, so make sure you go to your podcatcher of choice and get stuck in there. We'll be back with more video and more pod tomorrow. See you then.
I've been on the good ship, Nat Coombs, for 3-4 solid years. Is it 4 or 3? 3 years now.
This is the end of the third
This is the end of the third season. I'm going to ride this man to the top. That's my career strategy.
Man. It's going to be a long road.
My wife is like, you're really putting a lot of your eggs in the Nat Coombs basket.
She's not happy about it.
It's going to pay off. It's going to pay off.
That's what I love, man. Loyalty. Thanks, bud.